Alright, so today I'm going to show you how I'm going to make a realistic Winnie the Pooh from Christopher Robin's. So what you need is, I kind of found the closest fur to this color as I could get at Joann's, with a coupon of course. And then I'm going to dye it a little bit yellower with some acrylic paint, some water, and a brush. And you'll want to cover your surface with some plastic material so you don't get paint everywhere and stuff. But I'll show you how to do that. Then I'll show you how I'm going to make this Winnie the Pooh bear. So first off, I took a little piece of this fur and I just dyed it with the acrylic paint just to make sure I get the right kind of yellow that I want. And so I like this color quite a bit, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to turn this whole thing into this yellow fur. Okay, so I took a whole container of yellow and added about, I'd say, 6 to 8 cups of water, and I just stirred it into a bin and then placed the fur into this bin, and I mixed it pretty well in evenly. And I used the paintbrush to just spread it around, make sure all the entire fur was completely wet. I laid the fur out on some plastic bags, and the leftover paint water I just brushed more onto the fur. I set this outside and let it dry overnight. It took a couple days actually to dry completely. And while that was going on, I crocheted his red shirt, and I just kind of measured it against the old Winnie the Pooh bear that I'm using for the pattern. So I made a front and a back and 2 sleeves out of red yarn. Okay, I also created the pattern. I took the pattern off of this old Winnie the Pooh bear, and how I did that is I kind of used paper and traced where the seams were and where the darts were, and cut out each side. So there's a left side and a right side, a front and back, and I just made sure I had the seam exactly where the paper was cut. Okay, so after you have all of the pieces mapped out from the old teddy bear, you're going to retrace it, or you're going to trace it about a ½ inch larger. This will include the seam. So when you sew it, it'll be the exact size of the pattern. So you traced it larger, and then with the darts, you have to move the angle of the paper to create the darts, and then trace it again ½ inch around. Okay, so once you've cut out the pattern, then you're going to place it on the fur. Make sure the fur is going the right way, the right direction, everything going down, and then I did the ears, the fur going up, cut that out, and then you can start sewing. So I did the front part of the body first. I first sewed the darts that are on the side, and then I sewed the 2 pieces down the middle, right sides together. And you just repeat this process for the back part. Then, kind of making kind of a shirt, you're going to sew the sides together. So you're going to put right sides together, the front and the back, and sew the sides. Okay, so now you're going to sew the arms and the leg parts together. So the pieces, you're going to make sure the fur is right sides together, and you're going to sew all the way around, except for the end part, the flat end part, if that makes sense. And repeat it for the other arm. Then the leg has a short side and a long side, and you just want to make sure you sew the darts on the long side. Then squish right sides together, the short leg and the long leg, and sew the top part and the bottom part together, and then sew the foot to the leg, the round circle part to the leg. Pin it really well. I kind of had to cut a little bit extra to make it match, and I sewed it all the way around. So now it's okay. So then you're going to place the legs into the body part, the two bottom part holes. You're going to line up the seams. There's a top seam and a bottom seam. You want to make sure you get that right, or you're going to have the foot turned upside down, which would not look very good. Pin it really well. The other foot. Okay, then you're going to kind of repeat the same for the arms. I didn't match the seams. I put the seam of the arm in the middle of the front part of the body, if that makes sense. Made sure right sides are together, pin all the way around, sew all the way around, and then you've got the body completely done. Now for the face was a little tricky. You put the ears together, right sides together, sew the round part and leave the flat part open so you can turn it. Repeat for the other ear. Okay, so there is a right side and a left side of his face. You're going to squash that together, and you're going to do the top part below the nose part together, the right side and the left side, and you're going to sew all the way down to his mouth part. You're not going to sew the mouth part. You're going to skip over to the mouth part and sew his chin together. Then after that, you're going to sew the top part above his nose, his forehead, and then that's it. You're going to leave the top part open for the top fabric part of the head. Okay, you're going to sew all the darts as well on both the left side and the right side, making sure that you pinch it right sides together. Okay, then you're going to take the top part of the head and you're going to also sew the darts, the top part and the bottom part, right sides together, sew it together. Then you're going to place the front part of the top and you're going to place it right where the forehead part was sewn, and you're just going to line up the dart with the seam of the forehead. And you're going to sew that all the way around, and you're going to skip over the opening of the ear. Okay, so now you have the head part almost done. You just need to stick the ears in, make sure right sides are together in the openings, and I kind of bent down a little bit of the ears to add some dimension before putting it in and pinning it, and then sew it shut, both ears shut, turn it right sides out, and you've got the head and the body. Okay, so the only opening that you have left is the nose part and the mouth. The mouth is big enough that you can turn it right sides out. So you're going to put the head in, making sure that right sides together fabric of the body and the head. And you're going to line up the seams, the chin seam with the front part seam, and then also repeat that on the back dart of the head to the back seam. And you're going to pin it really, really well and sew it all the way around, and then you're going to turn it through the mouth. Okay, now for the fun part, you're going to stuff it. So I had a lot of fun with stuffing this Winnie the Pooh bear, pretending like he was actually eating it, and my kids were laughing in the background, and I was going yum 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 yum. And my kids also helped feed Winnie the Pooh bear, feed Winnie the Pooh. You want to make sure it's really stuffed, all the corners, the feet, the arms. Then you're going to place his lovely crocheted shirt around his body and hand stitch it together and add the last sleeve and hand stitch that. Okay, so now you just have the eyes to put in and the nose, which is just black doll eyes and a black nose. cut the little slits where you want the eyes and the nose, and I pinned the mouth part close and hand stitched. I added a smile with some embroidery brown, and voila, it's done. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more videos like this. And if you have any suggestions on what I should make next, please comment below.
It looks like Wayne.